So he's fit to stand trial.
Well, if you read into it, yes, he's fit to stand trial, because if he wasn't, the judge asked him today, how do you wish to plead? And so that would obviously suggest that he is criminally responsible for his actions, or at the very least he's been assessed to be aware and appreciate the circumstances of his actions.
And so, given how people reacted to his case back in December and the state of mind he was in, or the state of mind he was seen to be in, what would that indicate about his fitness to stand trial, about sort of where he's at, how he is?
Well, I don't want to really get into the nuts and bolts of what happened on that specific day. We obviously know from the remand hearing that Mr. Francis had a problem communicating his evidence to us at that particular juncture. Now what takes place is we'll look at the disclosure, come back and enter a plea. I can certainly tell you at this point in time that my client has instructed us, regardless of what's in the disclosure, to enter a plea of not guilty, and that we'll have a criminal trial to determine his innocence or his guilt, which will take place at the convenience of the court.
I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of people who saw the coverage felt that here's someone who's got some issues.
Right.
And yet, if he's fit to stand trial, how do we sort of reconcile these two views or perceptions?
Well, look, it's a bigger and broader issue. I think that the issue of post-traumatic stress disorder and the prescription of medicinal marijuana is much larger than our client. It's again, it's an issue that the mountains have to reconcile. They've got an active R.C.M.P officer, and he is an active R.C.M.P officer who has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of his job. So, but for the workings in his public service in the R.C.M.P for the past 21 years, he might not be in this position. You have a physician who has given him a legal prescription to use low-grade medical marijuana to resolve his anxiety, and he's utilized that for medical purposes. I've always said that the red hair is whether it's used in uniform or outside of uniform, because people generally are aware of who police officers are and who they aren't. So if he's sitting on his back deck and he's smoking a joint off duty, people are going to have that same perception unless they understand why he's been prescribed marijuana.
Potential that the Form 1 under which they're originally looking for him might be invalid. Is that still a live issue, or have you determined that the Form 1 was valid?
Well, that's certainly something that has to be explored, and the document speaks for itself. At the bottom of the document, it says that the document is only valid if the patient has been assessed within 7 days and the document has been issued within 7 days. That document is an evidence, and that document speaks for itself. Questioning the document and the legitimacy of the document is something that we have to further explore.
Was he assessed?
That's an evidentiary issue that we'll have to explore and determine at trial.
And did I hear you correctly earlier that the plan is to plead not guilty to these charges?
Yes.
Okay.
And what's the purpose on the condition for him to go to a mental health clinic?
Well, I think that's a standard procedure that takes place once an individual